Hey there guys, Hail Plasma324, welcome back to Let's Play Katawa Shoujo. In the last part, we did stuff. I don't remember, that was a few days ago, and I have terrible memory. In this part, we'll be doing other stuff. Let's get to it. For the first few days after I was back, I almost forgot that I was in the student council. I managed to pick up here and there that the student council usually gets swamped with work around the end of the break, but it didn't have to be the case. The few times when I managed to catch Shizune and Misha, they were in too much of a hurry for me to get the chance to ask if they needed help. Anytime they weren't, I'd only be able to get a hold of Misha. Shizune would say something about how there was work, but it was so little that involving either Misha or I would only bore us. After a while, the idea of having some free time again started to grow on me, although there were still periods when I felt like I had too much of it. Just when I was getting used to it, though, things changed again. Now I find myself back in the student council room, arguing with Shizune about whether tissue boxes make good ballot boxes or not. I'm telling you, they work just fine as long as we get the cube-shaped ones, not the rectangular ones. Misha, can you send that to her? I've kinda got my hands full. On second thought, forget it. She's busy cutting out ballot slips, so if she were to make one errant movement, she would probably send those scissors flying into someone's head. I dropped a box of poster paints I'm carrying onto the little table in the student council room and cough as a wave of dust hits me in the face. It really has been a while. You think we should change the size of the ballot slips? What? But Shi-chan, I already cut out so many of them. We can make them smaller. It'll be more efficient. We just have to shrink the font. More ballots will fit in a single box that way. We only need half the amount of paper then. The format for voting can be changed. It could be more like a real election. Then we might be able to get away with buying less boxes. With the money left over, we can get a pizza, or maybe Chinese, or a cake, or 3 bowls of the new ramen bowl I want to try. Shizune excitedly rubs a finger along the frame of her glasses as she ponders more ways to cut even a half-yen of spending off of our budget. Since I think she's the only one who knows what our budget is, I'm scared to ask just how tiny it is for her to have to do this. What about all the ballot slips Misha already cut out? Don't worry, I can make them into memo pads and sell them in the school store. Shi-chan, they don't look very cute, though. Shizune seems to disagree. Now they're arguing, but it looks like it consists of nothing more than signing yes they do and no they don't at each other until they're so tired of it they're just taking turns pointing at each other commandingly. It's strange, partly because it looks kind of ridiculous, but also because I've never seen them disagree. Then again, both of them look very stressed these past few days. Shizune has been increasingly absorbed in the idea of student council elections, though they're months away. I imagine this is how politicians act when they realize a regime change is imminent and their era is over. I'm having trouble taking student council matters seriously at all, even now as I practice my calligraphy on signs that won't go up for weeks, but I can understand why Shizune does. After all, she's been student council president for 3 years. According to her dad, she's wanted the job for even longer. I guess 3 years is too short of a career for her to leave feeling satisfied. Did the last student council go through this much trouble to make it a smooth transition for you? Shizune makes a chagrined face that tells me they weren't very helpful at all. I guess you're doing all this to set a good example then? That only comes into play if they learn anything from it, He-chan. If they don't, I'll be hyper mad. If they turn out to be the flaky type, I'll definitely be hard on them. Doesn't sound very threatening when Misha's saying it. So you've already met them? Ha ha ha! He-chan, there are no candidates yet! What? None? Not even for student council president. That is why I'm trying to drum up interest for the position. What do you think? She proudly holds up a poster she's been working on herself. It looks very, military. You might be taking this a little too seriously, then. Shizune frowns and plays with the glasses, offended. Is that weird? Yes. She looks oddly happy that I'm disagreeing with her, and I think that if she weren't genuinely focused on what she was doing, she would try and argue with me just because it would be interesting to her. What's weird about it? It looks like she will do after all. But then Shizune waves her hand dismissively, like she's trying to catch the words in the air and delete them. Instead, she catapults into insulting her future successors. Well, one thing that's weird is that in my old school, the elections would happen in about 6 months, since, we're graduating in March. It's pretty weird to think about them so early. It's a little different here. He-chan, I'll be discouraged if we don't have any replacements when I have to go, Chi-chan says. But it isn't like the school will stop running without a student council. It'll be harder for them to hand out forms, though. Ha! Shizune isn't laughing, however. Misha's joke causes her to flinch as if she were stung. Though Misha didn't mean for it to come out that way, her quip had a callous cruelty to it in the end. I'm trying to get more people to run, but everyone's so lazy. They think they can take it easy just because there are no deadlines yet. Slackers, not taking the early game advantage. Still 6 months away? If they aren't making their move now, they don't deserve a vote. Do they really think it's such an easy job that they can do everything at the last minute and then just coast into the role? Insulting, really, really. They're going to be eaten alive once they have to sit at this tiny desk and see just how much work they have to do. If this were a real election, they would be in deep trouble. I was reading about Japanese campaigning laws the other day. Only the bad ones for some reason. For a second, Shizune was talking like her father then, and it was coming out of Misha's mouth. Creepy. Well, first off, Shadow Shogun, you can't really make that call. They'll be elected. Second, it's just a school election. It's not like running for city council or the diet. I don't think Japanese campaigning laws apply. Third, although I don't want to say it, I'm nervous that Shizune is so enthusiastic about this, talking of elections and votes. According to her dad, she wasn't even elected herself. Come to think of it, I can't remember Shizune ever saying she was elected either. Then, did she get this position by her being recruited into the student council and having it fall apart until she was the only one left? Somehow I'd never considered it. I don't know what to think about that, but it wouldn't surprise me. We're only 3 people strong now. If the circumstances behind her becoming the student council president were that sad, I wonder if there will be a vote at all. Interest could just be that low, or non-existent really. Then all her energy would be going toward nothing. I slap an exclamation mark on the end of the poster I'm working on. It's a little plain, so I think adding one is okay. Actually, still might be a little too plain. I make the mark twice as large. I still say you need to slow down. If this stuff isn't going to be relevant for months, maybe you're working a little too hard on it. That's what I think. You're worrying too much. I don't know how to sign the word relevant. I try and only end up flicking the long line of paint where I didn't intend to. There's no way I can fix that. Misha, can you ask her that? Shizune giggles silently, clenching her teeth so that no sound actually comes out. Because there's a lot to worry about. Like what? Like, usually the boxes end up looking very pretty, so people take them. Have to plan for that. Wow, we should make them funny looking this time, and so no one would take them. How about that, Chi-chan? We could draw some weird faces on them, or we can put a little picture of Shizune on each one saying stealing is wrong. No, it's not funny. It's not the only problem either. There's voter turnout, of course. And the worst case scenario would be not having any candidates. Although it seems she meant it jokingly, from the way she smiles as she signs it, that isn't how it comes out. Even Misha understands that the possibility is very real, and though she tries to salvage the mood by punctuating Shizune's statement with a laugh, it doesn't work. What is wrong with both of you? I was just making a joke. There's actually some interest this year. There wasn't. Would I be doing all this work? I'm not stupid. When the elections are over, I'll buy everyone dinner. I'm already planning it. Even the new student council? No, they can buy their own celebration dinner. It will only be for the current student council. I'll be happy once I'm through having to do all these thankless jobs all the time. A dinner just for us? Yeah, it's like a little party, Chi-chan. Though her cheerfulness is obviously forced, I say nothing. For the rest of the period, which unfortunately isn't very long, we work in silence. After classes, I find the student council room locked. It's strange because Shizune was so busy earlier that I would expect her to continue working after school. It would be what she would normally do. Maybe she listened to my suggestion and decided to take a break. I'm hoping it's that simple. Feeling a little uneasy, I take a brief stroll around the school. It's only half conscious. I can't remember when I started moving my feet, but I've already covered enough of the campus that I'm starting to feel tired. Not that that means anything now. Just a short stroll around the school grounds, and I'm already winded. Really pathetic. Before I know it, I'm back in front of the student council office. There's someone else here too this time. Hi, He-chan. It's locked. Seeing a can of lemonade in her hand, I reflexively start looking for a vending machine nearby. I'm so thirsty. I know that He-chan. She-chan is somewhere else, I guess. Weird. Ha! We aren't stuck together, He-chan. Misha takes a long drink of her lemonade, eventually just tipping it over and pouring the rest into her mouth. I feel like I'm being mocked. Do you want one, Hee-chan? No, it's okay. I can't take someone else's drink. It's rude. Besides, you're making fun of me, aren't you? I just saw you inhale all of that. I have another one in my bag. I was prepared. See? I'm just like Shi-chan. She's a little too prepared. It's good some of that is rubbing off on you anyway. After what, 2 years? Wah! The way she stares at me as I drink is a little disconcerting, but I'm too graceful to care much about it. You and Shizune always end up treating me to something. It's starting to embarrass me. Really, Hee-chan? Ha ha ha! Buy me lunch sometime then, okay? Then we'll be even. Well, it's funny you should say that. I was going to ask you if you wanted to eat in town. Yeah, I'm really hungry today, Hee-chan. Thanks. Yesterday. I was going to ask her yesterday. Misha cuts me off before I can finish the sentence, and I can't find an opening to correct her as she dashes enthusiastically around me, laughing, her arms flapping excitedly at her sides. I already have my wallet with me, so I start walking toward town with Misha trailing behind me, playing idly with her hands and loudly wondering to herself where we should go eat. At least, I think so. She could be asking me. Do you have anywhere specific you want to go? I want to go to the tea house. They have a really big parfait there. I saw you eat a parfait there last time. It looked really big. No. This one's really, really big. It's also really expensive. Really, really expensive? Ha, a little. Jeez. Well, you and Shizune paid for my food a bunch of times, so it's fine. Hee-chan, I don't think I ever did that. Are you sure it wasn't just Shi-chan? Are you really arguing against a free meal? Don't worry about it. We go to the Shanghai and are seated by a waitress who, surprisingly, not Yuko. Misha is very eager to eat that parfait, because she shouts her order as soon as she walks through the door. When it arrives, I can see that it is both very big and very expensive looking. Aren't you going to order anything, Hee-chan? If you're hungry, we can share. No, I don't like parfaits. I don't like praline. You can pick it out. You can't just pick up praline. Don't be silly. I'm guessing that's praline. Even if I could, Misha is mashing her food together to the point where it is no longer possible. It also looks kind of gross. I wonder if that many flavors can even blend well together. Can she really taste anything in the goop? She's acting like it's delicious anyway. Parfaits are the best. I have sensitive teeth, so ice cream is a no-go. Cake's too soft though and there's too much icing. I get bored. Parfait is interesting. How many cafes have parfait here, I think? I think 10. I've tried them all. I like this one the best. That's a little flan. You sound like you're some kind of dessert expert. Not just dessert. I want to eat all kinds of delicious things. And I have enough money to buy a 2-kilogram Matsusaka beefsteak. That's like over 100,000 yen. I guess the kind of decadent food is kind of your hobby then, huh? A hobby isn't something that should take months to learn about someone. I've been very rude in retrospect. Also, that's one pricey hobby. I guess so. Decadent? Yeah. Misha giggles, raising her hand to her face. Looks like some ice cream accidentally got on her nose. She doesn't notice it. I can't stop noticing it. I wish she would wipe it off. I'm about to tell her about it, but she suddenly says, I don't know what that means. Oh, I guess it's a bad word anyway. It has implications. Epicurean is better. It means someone who enjoys eating nice food. That's the adjective, though, so epicure is a word for it. Wah! Hee-chan, you're too wordy. Sorry. Haha, I think that's what Shi-chan likes about you. Because I'm wordy? I need to buy some thesauruses then. Wah, no, not like that, Hee-chan. I decided to order some coffee after all, but it takes a while to get the waitress to notice, and I actually think getting my coffee will take about as long. The tea shop is filling up. No surprise, as we've already been here for an hour while she was chipping at that dessert. I ordered my coffee to go, but Misha orders one as well, so it seems we're going to be longer than I thought. I really wish it was that easy. It's hard to talk to her lately. Shi-chan's been busy because of the elections. I know we can't have fun all the time. It's just there's a lot I want to say to her, I think. I always screw up when the time comes, though, and I don't even have time now because of the elections. They're not for a while, though. Hee-chan, do you think Shi-chan is avoiding you? Misha sounds angry. That's to be expected, but I don't feel that way at all. No. Is that so? The dreamy way in which she says it makes me think that Misha is disappointed with my answer. In that case, it could be how she feels. I'm uneasy asking such a question, but I trust Misha would answer it honestly. Otherwise, I wouldn't even dream of it. Do you? No, of course not, Hee-chan, but it's frustrating sometimes. Shi-chan has so much energy, is always trying to make people feel as excited about things as she is. But it's like Shi-chan doesn't know how to handle things when everyone gets really hyped up. Or, I think she wants to make sure nothing goes wrong. When I want to help out, Shi-chan always pushes me away. It's frustrating. I'm just overthinking it, probably, right? Misha takes a big gulp from her cup of coffee, then sticks her tongue out. Ow! Hot, hot, hot! Thought it would have cooled down by now. Has it really been that long? I checked my watch. It hasn't been very long at all, but looking outside, the sun is already starting to set. Not really. It got dark out pretty quickly today, though, so I can understand why you might think that. At my words, Misha looks outside and yawns out almost immediately. She looks sleepy. That's funny, because... Are you sleepy? You were wide awake, like, just 2 seconds ago. I feel tired when it gets dark, Hee-chan. Just like that? You a bird? Ha ha ha! I pick up my own coffee and have a sip. It's not very hot at all, but very tasty. I down it as quickly as possible because now I want to get back to my dorm room as well. Misha tries to emulate me, but it's still too hot for her. While I wait for her to finish, I start to wonder what she meant then about Shizune liking something about me. Suddenly I'm very curious, but dragging that back up now seems like an unnecessary action. I try to weigh the option again, but am interrupted by Misha slamming her empty cardboard cup down on the table with a loud pop. Done! She lets out a short laugh, seeming very pleased with herself, kind of like a toddler. Wonder if she had that drow-shaped haircut when she was little too. Or was it something more like her current look? It would make more sense. Guess we should head back then. I can't see the waitress. Try not to fall asleep while I pay for the sundae, okay? Not a sundae, it's a parfait, Hee-chan. Wah! You have ice cream on your nose. That's a good way to end that. I do believe this act's going to get more in-depth pretty soon. And really put in some backstory. In class the next afternoon, I'm 2 problems into a math logic worksheet when a folded up piece of paper hits me in the head. I'm sure I know who it's from, but I quickly look around the classroom anyway, just in case. No one in this classroom is as good as acting casual. I can tell that everyone saw who threw it at me, and looking at the culprit herself, it was obviously Shizune. She isn't even trying to be coy about it. The countryside is so different. At my old school, I would have no idea who it was right now. Opening up the note, it says, Misha's absent. Help me out today after school. I don't understand what's with the note. Why can't you just use sign language? A large part of how I learned sign language was by copying Misha's style of signing her words as she speaks, so I end up blurting the sentence out loud as I send it to Shizune. A slight laugh goes around the room. How awkward. I'll help if I don't have to do a lot. That's silly. Obviously, if Misha's absent, you have to help as much as 2 people. I don't know if that really means anything. After all, Misha was complaining yesterday mostly about how Shizune wouldn't let her help her. I don't do much as is either. After pretending to think it over for a bit, I write her a note back telling her I will. I'm actually pretty happy that she asked me, because I've been meaning to talk to her for a while. It's a good opportunity, but I feel I should at least make it look like I'm putting up some resistance to the idea. I go back to my worksheet and immediately get stuck on the 3rd problem. After trying to work around it, I casually toss my own note over to Shizune. It says, Why is Misha absent, and what's the answer to question 3? She told me that she was sick and her stomach hurt. Misha gets stomach aches a lot, but I wish she'd pick a better time for it this week. Use sign language. I think she has a stomach ache because of the way she sucked down a parfait larger than her own head the other day. She gets them quite often, though. Either it's a coincidence or she has a habit of eating things to put her in debilitating pain. I notice the teacher staring at us disapprovingly. I don't blame him. We're talking in class and with sign language in quite a visible and distracting way. I try clearing my throat to back out of a conversation, but Shizune doesn't get the hint. Well, obviously. Before I try to get the message across with my hands, however, I can see Shizune notices what's up. She just doesn't care. You still want to know the answer to question 3? I will tell you, but you have to give me the answer to question 25. Hey, I was just thinking about how a teacher who didn't know sign language could think we're abusing it and using it to cheat, if you were to assume the worst. I can't believe you're actually doing that, and I'm not up to 25. You wanted to know what the answer to 3 was. You asked first, hypocrite. You're the student council president. You can't cheat. I don't have time for this, and I think I'm trying to teach her patience to the breaking point. I'd like to continue taking pot shots at her while working on the math problems in front of me, but it would require at least 2 extra hands. Shizune is a bit more creative and gets around this limitation by using long, semi-broken strings of simpler words. I take a couple mental notes in between being dizzied by a couple of particularly long equations. Right before the bell rings, she caps her pen and triumphantly slams it on the desk with a near-popping crack that makes the whole room jump, quickly forgotten because everyone would rather go to lunch than question its origin. After a couple brief stretches, she gets up and hovers around my left shoulder. Are you still not done? I was going to ask if you wanted me to hand in yours too while I was up. Someone distracted me. I had to beg the teacher to give me 9 minutes between now and the end of passing to finish it. It's not easy to solve this one-handed while having a conversation, by the way. He wasn't happy with the request, wanting to get out of here as much as I do. Since I'm only one problem away from finishing, it looks like Shizune doesn't really believe me. The second that I'm done handing it in, I find myself being dragged to the student council room. It's eerily and annoyingly clean. I can't find what I was working on yesterday. Where is everything? I did some cleaning. That doesn't tell me anything. See, it's like you forgot where you even put the stuff you put away. Oh well, if I can't find it, I guess I'll just go home. It's in the drawer right there. Shizune sulks as I pull out the posters I was working on, then shuffle them around a little since she stacked them by color. It's not that I'm taunting her, I just have my own system, although I doubt she would believe me if I were to tell her. I like when things are a little messy, it's more natural, and a time saver. It's all right where I left it, and I'll have to go looking through shelves just to find what I was working on yesterday. Lazy. That's not true, I'm not lazy, you just always go too far. I quickly glance at her desk. A memo pad neatly placed at one corner behind it, a small desk calendar with each box filled with notes in neat but microscopic handwriting. On the right, 3 boxes of pens, in blue, black, and red. Look, even put the pens back in their original box at the end of the day, all color-coded and everything. I don't think they can even be called being a neat freak. What do you do with them? Throw them in a mug on your desk? Yeah, I think that's being organized enough. You're so disorganized you can't even comb your hair down properly. That hurts. It's not like I don't try, it just won't stay flat. I pick up a box of pens and quickly pop it open to see if she also put them in if they were all facing the same direction. She understands what I'm thinking and doesn't look very amused. It turns out the box was enclosed properly on the bottom, and as soon as I pick it up, they immediately pour out of it like a waterfall. My fault, I'll get them, don't worry. I bend down to pick up the pens, forgetting that with her attention focused on them, she couldn't have possibly seen me signing to her. Shizune's head bumps into my chest. Not very hard, but it unbalances me enough to make me fall over. I laugh it off and expect her to do the same. When she stiffens and backs away from me instead, a feeling of dread begins to creep over me. That is a weird reaction. I start to think about why she would have such a strange reaction. It's pretty obvious. She just bumped headfirst into someone with a heart condition. Shizune would know I have one, having seen the rows and rows of pills lining the edge of my dresser, or at the very least she would know I have something severe enough to require that much medication, but not visible at a glance. She's treating me like I'm made of glass. For her, it's a natural way to react. I haven't forgotten how she freaked out when Emmy knocked into me on my first day here. Why would it be any different for her? I'm sure she's remembering that now. I can see it on her face. She looks angry at herself. It would be a good opportunity to bring up that time when she saw my pills. Even though I don't want to drag that back up, it would be a good idea too. It would clear the air. Still, I'm afraid and then I'll end up saying nothing. Partly because, as I imagine having to draw her attention from the floor and then having to decide what kind of a cripple I am to her one gesture at a time, the idea seems more and more depressing. Taking a seat, I decide to just try and finish up these posters to get my mind off of it. There are some that I don't remember making. From the wall-to-wall text and ultra-neat handwriting, I can tell Shizune must have done these. That means that the remainder must have been done by Misha. There are a lot more visual with cute little stylized pictures of us on them. I don't know how I feel about being used as a mascot character, but I'm not really thrilled by it. Some time passes, long enough for the sun to start setting. I hear Shizune putting down her pen and cracking her knuckles methodically, one at a time. It's so loud in the silence of the room that I look up, wondering if she is trying to get my attention. Although it wasn't what she intended, when she notices me looking at her, Shizune begins to sign without skipping a beat. Let's take a break. I'm surprised you would say that. It's okay, I'm almost done anyway, and I'm hungry, aren't you? A little. I'm really hungry. We could order something. I was thinking of you. I already have something to eat. Where? She produces a cinnamon bun from under her desk, raising it to head level slowly, like a magician levitating a rock. But there's only one, not enough for both of us. Ah, how dramatic. I can tell what this means. A feeling of deja vu briefly washes over me. We could just split it. That's no fun. So boring. Let's play Shogi for it. She already has the board out. That desk must have everything in it. Not chess? Chess has boring promotions. This is better. I don't know about that. Well, I'm actually pretty decent at Shogi, so this is fine. Is that so? Okay, we can make it a little more interesting then. Each move has to be completed in 30 seconds. You can add a rule too. No thanks, anything I could add would hurt me more than it would help. A 30-second time limit was already too tight for me. You're making me regret thinking it was alright to brag a little. After Shizune wins the right to go first in a quick coin toss, she immediately starts playing with the aim of promoting all of her pieces as soon as possible. It seems like a very basic playstyle, and I can't help thinking it might be a trap of some sort. It's not, though. The draw of this game to Shizune appears to be the fact that she can upgrade her pieces and steal mine. She's very good at it, but it makes her predictable. I end up doing a little better than I expected to. The 30-second time limit was pretty painful, though. The game ends in a draw. At this point, I think you're supposed to either go for a rematch or tally the pieces for points. Shizune doesn't want to go again in the interest of time, but winning on points clearly doesn't satisfy her. She sits there, shifting a silver general from one end to the other as she contemplates which of those two options she'll go for. It takes so long that I think she's forgotten about the bet. Eventually, she stops fiddling with the shogi piece and puts it down. Is Misha angry at me? That really came out of nowhere. Shizune's frankness is disorienting, because with her, any kind of candor is a sign of total seriousness. There's no playful smile on her face, instead it's her usual stoic massive concentration, ready to try and see if I'm about to tell her the truth. I'm upset that she thinks I would tell her anything else, but I also know that now they've probably fought recently, out of my sight, it makes me feel warm to know that they both care about each other so much. No, I strongly doubt it. Did you know that she thinks you're angry at her? Shizune nods slowly and uncomfortably. Yes. She's more roundabout with the question than you. Kind of surprising, because I thought that you were the one who liked playing games. Not all the time. Are you two having some kind of fight? No. She's very quick to not deny it, and not happy with the thought. I feel like I've stepped on a landmine. Sorry. Actually, yes. Just a tiny one. I know that she has no interest in the student council. She only joined because of me. I'm still grateful. I'm so happy she's my friend. But I don't understand what she's upset about this time. Why don't you just ask her? She won't tell me. I'll figure it out by myself instead. I'm sure that I was very perceptive, even if I can't hear. That was dumb. I know better now. It's probably something that is my fault. Shizune doesn't elaborate further on what it could have been. I'm sure that it is because she does not fully understand the situation herself. It's odd to think that Shizune, usually so sure of everything, could be scared by a little argument with a friend, but the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. They're a lot closer to each other than normal friends, and Shizune is pretty isolated from other people in a way. The fact that she's deaf is no small part of it. But I get the feeling that she uses Misha as a buffer between other people of her own will, not just because it's been forced onto her. She can communicate pretty well enough with a little pad. She just hates it. After such a long time of talking through another person, I guess you start to lose touch. It seems unavoidable. It isn't such a far-out idea to think that she isn't that great with people. I return to working, kind of wanting to eat that cinnamon bun more as time drags on, but when I count the shogi pieces still left out on Shizune's table, I can tell at a glance she would win. I'm also too hungry to concentrate if we were to have a rematch. Motivated by my desire to wrap up and eat something, I put finishing touches on the last of the posters. Done. I think this money's enough. Too many can be a bad thing. Okay. That's it? Just okay? I'll probably do some myself after I'm done picking what voting format to go with. Too many posters is bad too. Haven't you ever heard of oversaturation? I really think you're trying too hard. Tinting her fingers, Shizune looks like she could almost admit it. Maybe. It's what Misha thinks too. I watch as her fingers continually continue uneasily twining around and pulling at each other in a miniature tug-of-war. I don't mind, but I asked around in a couple of classes today, and interest is low. It's like you said, so... Does that make it wrong? No, but it does make it kind of pointless. It's not. Yeah, but to who? I doubt even Shizune truly believes that. I'm not doing all this work just for my own ego. That isn't what I mean. First chance to be alone with her in days, and I've already really cocked it up. Still, she doesn't actually look angry. It's more like she's frustrated that she can't express herself clearly enough. Since she's an expert in sign language, I wouldn't think that would be the case. I wonder what advantage being able to speak would offer her, and if she's ever thought about it. It's another project of mine, just like the festivals. I'm going to do it because it's my job. It's just that a student council election isn't as fun as a festival, so no one cares. She briefly touches her fingertips together, as to say, but maybe. There's some truth to it, but Shizune doesn't want to say anything that could be boiled down into something so glib. But I don't care. I want to get people riled up, but it isn't about me. I don't want to be involved at all. What do you mean? You go to like every single festival. Shizune waves her hand in mock indignation. Well, I have to have fun too, but you know, it's not the same thing. Her spirits seem to have improved if she can manage to crack a joke. I don't want anyone to make a point of me being involved. It's a hassle. I don't want that responsibility. Things are becoming too complicated now as is. The more I try to hype up the elections, the more involved I have to be. No one wants to play their hand yet, and it doesn't feel like my time is over, even though it should. Crossing her arms and leaning back, she grinds her teeth together in frustration. They're all so lazy, it's impossible to get them to do anything. Anywhere else, the elections would be an exciting event. It's illogical. Why does everyone have to be so different? If only there was some way to punish them. Like chaining the school to their desks. Voting is mandatory. If you don't vote, you get whipped. Terrifying. I wonder how hypocritical it would be if I were to stay in bed on election day, with the flu, and a cold, and strep throat, and a sprained ankle. You should put yourself on one of these. Not as punishment, don't misunderstand. I hold up one of Misha's posters. Like this, it's kind of a neat idea. Misha was onto something. It's a lot cuter than just text. I think you would like it. Having cute mascots would drum up some excitement. Maybe if it's just Misha. Why not me? Someone told me that the school has slightly more girls than boys. You have to cater to that demographic too. Shizune giggles audibly this time. I'm surprised, and when she sees my face, so is she. Her face flushes pink and fails to have let out a sound, which is really confusing, to say the least. Why don't you put yourself on it? She just waves my question away. It's troublesome. What do you mean, troublesome? Everyone knows you're in the student council. My stomach growls, making me realize that I'm hungrier than I thought. Shizune uses the moment to deflect my question by changing the subject. Is something wrong? No, my stomach growled. I see. She looks at the forgotten pastry on her desk and frowns, finding it inadequate for two people. Let's go to the Shanghai if you're that hungry. Might be a little busy this late, but Yuko's working there today. We'll definitely get a table. There's something worryingly underhanded in that smile. I'll pass. I've already been there twice this week, back to back. Shizune pouts, leaning back against her desk and scrunching up her posture in protest. What? I'm disappointed you said no. Well, I can't agree with you on everything. You don't give your opinion off enough anyway. It would be easiest for me if it was like that, but not very interesting, right? There's some decisions you should disagree with me on then. You have a duty to. How am I supposed to know which is which? It's easy. No, it's not. Sometimes it's hard for me to tell whether you're joking or serious. Although, since she communicates entirely in sign language, that would seem pretty obvious. I wouldn't say that that's all there is to it, though. I remember when I had my heart attack. Iwanako wouldn't stop talking at first. Eventually, I wished that she would just shut up. Or I would have, if I hadn't been so happy to have any company at all. Gradually, I stopped being so grateful. When we talked, it felt like it was nothing more than ritualized exchanges of politeness. Iwanako tried extremely hard to obfuscate? Whatever. How she felt, which was that I was hopeless. In the end, her outer behavior matched her inner feelings. For that reason, I was able to accept it when one day she stopped showing up. I was no longer surprised by the time it happened. Even though she considered herself a master at hiding her feelings, I was not surprised. I've heard that games like Shogi and chess can tell you a lot about a person. I wish I knew what Shizune thought they said about me. It could be that I'm a little more than Iwanako than I'd like to think. If I can only tie with Shizune by retreating. I suggest that we should order out.